Imagine the blinding flash of paparazzi cameras, the red carpet screams, and the perfect frozen smiles of Hollywood's elite. But peel back the blockbuster veneer, and you find a statistical anomaly so precise it defies all logic. Did you know every single one of Tom Cruise's marriages ended exactly when his wives turned 33? It's not just a coincidence, it's a chilling pattern that has haunted Hollywood for decades, and the reason behind it is darker than you think.
First, there was Mimi Rogers, the one who introduced him to the fold. Then Nicole Kidman, the golden icon of the 90s. Finally, Katie Holmes, the one who planned the escape. 3 distinct women, 3 different decades, yet they all hit the exact same expiration date. The math is terrifyingly consistent. 3 marriages, 3 divorces, 1 specific number. This synchronicity suggests a countdown clock that starts ticking the moment the ring goes on. This isn't about heartbreak or bad luck. It is evidence of a rigid system designed to control. It appears that 33 isn't just an age, it's a deadline where compliance ends and the disconnect begins. Before we start, don't forget to press that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's begin. Patient 0, Mimi Rogers.
To the flashing cameras of the late 80s, she was simply the woman on the arm of Hollywood's rising top gun. But in the shadows, Mimi wasn't just a spouse, she was the architect. A second-generation Scientologist with deep ties to the organization's elite, she held the keys to a kingdom Tom didn't even know existed. She didn't just date him, she recruited him. She took a young, malleable star and walked him through the doors of the church, transforming him from a casual actor into a devout believer. The public saw red carpets and romance, but the private reality was a rigid mentorship. Mimi was the auditor, and Tom was the project. Yet once the student surpassed the master, the dynamic shattered. The reason for their split remains one of the most bizarre chapters in Hollywood history. Tom didn't just file for divorce, he cited a spiritual need for celibacy. Mimi later revealed the absurdity to Playboy, explaining that Tom was seriously considering becoming a monk. He claimed he needed to split from her to maintain the purity of his instrument. It sounds like madness, but look at the timeline. It is surgical. Mimi was 31 years old when they married. When the divorce papers were signed in December 1989, she was exactly 33. The monk excuse provided the cover, but the numerology provided the proof. This was the first strike, the establishing shot of a pattern that would repeat with terrifying accuracy. The system had successfully extracted the star from the recruiter. But if Mimi was the teacher, the next wife was considered a threat. Enter Nicole Kidman. If Mimi was the architect, Nicole was the prize. For a decade, they were the golden couple, the picture-perfect face of Hollywood royalty. But behind the blinding flashbulbs, the organization viewed her as something else entirely, a ticking time bomb. The problem wasn't just her influence, it was her bloodline. Nicole's father was a clinical psychologist. In the eyes of the church, this is not just a profession, it is the ultimate evil, a rival system that competes for the human mind. This connection automatically branded her a potential trouble source. The logic is ruthless but simple. If you are connected to psychology, you are dangerous.
This paranoia birthed a surveillance campaign that sounds like it belongs in a spy thriller. Former high-ranking officials have alleged that the organization didn't just watch her, they wiretapped her. The fear was that she was slowly pulling their star asset away from the bridge to total freedom. To keep their grip on Tom, they had to identify her as a suppressive person, or SP. Put simply, an SP is anyone designated as an enemy of the group, someone who blocks spiritual progress and must be cut off. The tension simmered for 10 years, concealed by red carpet smiles, until the clock struck the magic number. In 2001, just as Nicole hit the danger zone age of 33, the hammer dropped. Tom filed for divorce.
It wasn't a drift, it was an ambush.
Nicole was reportedly left in total shock, later confessing she thought their life was perfect. She was pregnant at the time, which ended in miscarriage, and he left her with a coldness that stunned the world. But the divorce wasn't the cruelest cut. The organization's doctrine demanded total severance. As Tom entrenched himself deeper, his two adopted children, Bella and Connor, were allegedly instructed to view their own mother as an SP. They didn't just lose a father, Nicole lost her children to the ideology. She had been discarded at 33, precisely like the woman before her. But the pattern wasn't finished. The system needed a new candidate, and they would find her in a young actress who had posted a poster of Tom on her wall as a teenager.
The system found its candidate in Katie Holmes, but they underestimated who they were letting in. While reports suggest she underwent a vetting process that felt more like a casting call than a courtship, complete with auditions and handlers, Katie played the role of the perfect convert flawlessly. She smiled for the cameras and followed the protocol, but she was quietly studying the history of the women who came before her. If you're enjoying this video, please hit the like. It's free and really helps the channel grow. Oh, by the way, I will be posting more videos like this, so please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another deep dive from me. Katie realized that for her daughter, Suri, the golden child destiny wasn't a promise, it was a threat. She knew that if she waited, Suri would eventually be separated from her and absorbed into the Sea Org, just as Nicole's children had been turned against her. When the atmosphere in the home shifted, Katie didn't scream or fight. She realized that you cannot argue with a system that wiretaps its enemies. You have to outsmart it. She initiated a plan that divorce lawyers later described as a covert military operation. While Tom was thousands of miles away in Iceland filming a sci-fi movie, assuming his domestic life was under total surveillance and control, Katie went dark. She knew her regular devices were likely compromised, so she utilized a disposable burner phone supplied by a friend to communicate with the outside world. To prevent Tom's team from freezing her assets or blocking her movement, she didn't just hire a lawyer, she secretly retained 3 separate legal firms in 3 different states. This created a jurisdictional fog of war, ensuring that when she dropped the hammer, Tom's team wouldn't know where to send the cease and desist. She quietly rented a secret apartment in New York City, moving pieces of her life out right under the noses of her security detail. Then she struck with mathematical precision. On June 29, 2012, Katie Holmes filed for divorce. The timing was a sniper shot at the organization's superstition. She was exactly 33 years old, the precise age Mimi and Nicole had been when they were discarded. But Katie flipped the script. She filed exactly 5 days before Tom's 50th birthday. By detonating the marriage before his milestone celebration, she seized the media narrative and stunned him into a settlement. She didn't just want out, she wanted Suri. And because she struck first, fast, and silently, she became the only wife to escape with her child and her silence intact. But looking closer, the math exposes a pattern that borders on ritual. To the average person, 33 is just a birthday. But in the esoteric circles that influence the organization's lore, the number is known as the master teacher. In numerology, it symbolizes the pinnacle of spiritual maturity, the moment an individual stops being a student and starts becoming a guide. For a group obsessed with the bridge to total freedom, this number creates a dangerous paradox. The theory is simple. By age 33, a woman enters her true prime. She is no longer the impressionable ingenue who can be dazzled by movie sets or intimidated by handlers. She has auditioned, she has seen the machinery behind the curtain, and she has begun to question the script. She becomes a master of her own reality. In this belief system, a wife who cannot be molded is a liability. She is a suppression of the mission. The organization likely views this age not as a milestone, but as a checkpoint, a mandatory retirement age for the role of the perfect vessel before she gains enough power to dismantle the narrative from the inside. It wasn't magic, and it wasn't a curse. It was a risk assessment. The system needed them out before their compliance expired. Katie just happened to read the clock better than anyone else, realizing that in this game, you either leave before the deadline or you don't leave at all. In the wake of the settlement, the silence wasn't just deafening, it was permanent. Tom didn't crumble. Instead, he doubled down on the one thing that has never betrayed him, his stardom. Today, he stands as the undisputed savior of cinema, the last true titan of Hollywood, whose stunts in Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible single-handedly resurrected the theatrical experience. He is the most visible man on the planet, yet he is ghost-like in the lives of those who once shared his name. The cost of this total freedom is a devastating estrangement. Reports indicate Tom hasn't seen Suri in over a decade. She recently turned 18, attending her prom and heading to college, not as Suri Cruz, but as Suri Noel, dropping his surname entirely. The severance is total. The number 33 ultimately did its job. It acted as a firewall, cutting the connection before the perfect vessel could compromise the mission. The algorithm protected his spiritual eternity, ensuring no suppression could take root in his life, but it razed his family to the ground. He secured his legacy as an immortal screen icon, but the victory rings hollow in the quiet of his personal life. Was it worth it, or is he just a prisoner in his own castle?